Hello, in this tutorial I will show you how to install Qonda Reports. The install is pretty simple. There are two ways to do the install. One is using an installer and the other is to use a manual install. So to begin we will use the installer method. This is an executable that will be supplied to you when you purchase the software. So we can open that. It may prompt you for administrator access if you're not already an administrator. The reason for that is that it needs to create a Windows service. So just press yes if you are prompted. I'm logged in as an administrator on this server, so it didn't prompt me for that. To begin, you need a password. So the password is supplied with the software when you purchase it. So we just input the password, press OK. And it says this will install Qonda Reports as a Windows service. Continue. Just press yes. It'll ask for the install path. So the install path shouldn't be under program files because program files can be read-only in certain circumstances. And because we'll be writing data to a database, it needs to be read-write. So generally put it in a path that's not program files. In this particular case, I'm just going to put it in apps, Qonda, and then reports. So press OK. And while that is extracting, you'll see it's created the folder and written all of the files there. So once the install is done, you'll see some command line windows appear. Those are just installing the service and then directing us to the website. So that's the install done. So you'll notice a couple of things here. There's a banner at the top which just shows you that the software isn't licensed. That's expected because we haven't applied the license file yet. In order to supply the license file, you just need the host name, which is quoted in the banner at the top here. The other thing you'll notice is that we have an environment already set up here. That's just for demonstration purposes, and we can delete that afterwards. The next install method that we will use is the manual install method using the zip file. So with the zip file, we just need to extract that. So we can extract the contents to a suitable path. We will get prompted for a password again. So we can input that password, press OK, and just wait for the contents to be unzipped. Once the contents are unzipped, we need to copy them to the final folder. So in this case, we will just copy the contents and we will create a new folder just called reports, and we'll paste them in there. Okay, so to do the manual install, there are two batch files. One is to install the service and the other one is to delete the service. So to install it, we just need to right click the install service batch file and just go run as administrator. That will install the service and start the service for us. So we can just press OK. Okay, so once that's done, we can fire up our browser and we can go to https localhost Qonda. You will get a warning that the connection isn't private because that's because the certificate that it creates is a self-signed certificate. So we can just press continue and it will open up the software exactly the same as how we did with the installation media. To uninstall the software, just go to the folder where you installed Qonda Reports and find the delete service batch file. Just right click that and go run as administrator. This will do a couple of things. It will stop the service and also uninstall the service. So once that's done, the service will be uninstalled, and then you can simply delete the folder. And that's it, the software is uninstalled. If you're installing Qonda Reports on a existing web server, such as ArcGIS, there will be a conflict with the ports. The default ports for Qonda are port 80 and 443, and these are the same ports that ArcGIS uses. So if we run the installer and just let that run, it'll do its thing, but you'll notice that it will redirect to localhost, but because it's actually hitting ArcGIS in this case, it's not actually going to work. So if we find the Qonda Reports service, you can see it's running, but it's not actually running. So that's because of the conflict with the ports. So to fix that, we can stop the service. And now if we go back to our Qonda Reports directory and we find our server config file, the server config file is a JSON file, and what we want to do is just change the ports at the top here. So we change the HTTP port to 8080 and the HTTPS port to 8443, and we can just press save. And now if we run that, the service will start, and we can change this port to 8443, and we get the certificate message, and we're in. Continuing with the install on an existing web server, if we want to have Qonda Reports exposed through our ArcGIS web server, we can use a redirect, which is included in the software. So you'll notice in the Qonda Reports directory, there is this directory called ArcGIS reverse proxy. So to set that up, we need to start up ArcGIS manager, and we can go to our sites, default website, we create a new application, and we call this Qonda. The application pool needs to be .NET 4.5 Classic, and the physical path, we can change that to the directory where the reverse proxy is. So we choose the reverse proxy, press OK, and if we browse that now, you'll see that we are going through localhost. So even though we still have it available on port 8443, the redirects it to the ArcGIS web server and will handle the redirection to the 8443 port. So you'll notice here, if we have a look at the certificate, you can see the certificate is the same one that's used by ArcGIS, whereas if we go back to our 8443 and we have a look at this certificate, this one is the one that was issued by Qonda Reports during the install process. And that's how we set up the redirect from ArcGIS to Qonda Reports.